Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Shrutismritipurananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangai Stushtovagum Sastanubhih Yashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vidhashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishvavedaha Swasti nastarksho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspati'r Dadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om, salutations to all. We entered the 6th chapter and we saw the context. The first mantra said that Sukesha approaches Pippalada Rishi, and before asking the question, he gives him the background of that question, and he says that this king Hiranyanabha, the prince Hiranyanabha, approached him and asked him about the Shodasha-Kala-Purushah. And he did not know, Sukesha, he did not know about Shodasha-Kala-Purushah, so he said, I don't know. The prince could not believe, so Sukesha went on to say that if I knew, why would I not share this knowledge with you? You are a very deserving person. And also that if I also know that if I tell a lie, my here and hereafter both will get destroyed. So when Hiranyanabha heard this, he was convinced and he mounted his chariot and he left. Now Sukesha, the question was bothering him, and so he has now come to Pippalada Rishi, and the question he is asking is the last line of the first mantra, Tam tva pritchami kvasau purusha iti. Hence I am asking you, where is that Purusha? So where is that Purusha includes, first question actually is, what is that Purusha? And then where is the Purusha? We saw the background that Shankaracharya ji gives before he starts commenting on this mantra, and where he says that what was said earlier, that the entire world, so what was said earlier was that in the state of deep sleep, everything becomes unmanifest and goes back to the source, the self. And in the same way, at the time of Pralaya also the same thing happens, the entire creation will go back to the source. And whoever knows this source becomes the mantra said, Sa Sarvajnaha Sarvo Bhavati. becomes omniscient and becomes everything. Now, this anecdote is to make a person realize that self, and also that it makes that person have that intensity to seek the self. Not knowing this self, anything else we may know, it is only temporary. So, last portion is what we saw. The last line where we saw was Mumukshunam Yatna Vishesho Mumukshunam Yatna Vishesha Upadanartham. So that Mumukshu must put special efforts to know this self. Like we see in the case of Sukesha, he comes and he asks the question to Pippalada Rishi. He doesn't leave it saying that, okay, I don't know, so it's all right. The fact that a prince Hiranyanabha came seeking this knowledge of the self, and the fact that Sukesha, when he didn't know the answer, he went to the Guru, waited for all the other 5 disciples to ask their questions, and then he asks his question. So the anecdote is to say that a mumukshu must put that special effort required to know the self. Now, this was the background given by Shankaracharya. That's where we had stopped. Now let us see on the mantra proper what has Shankaracharya said. This is from the 3rd paragraph in the commentary, in the Bhashya. He Bhagavan, Hiranyanabho namatah Kausalayam bhavaha Kausalyo Rajaputro Jatitaha Kshatriyo Mam Upetya Upagamya Etam Uchyamanam Prashnam Aprachata. Hey Bhagavan, meaning O Rishi Pippalada, he is addressing Pippalada Rishi as Bhagavan. That's a part of the mantra. Hiranyanabho namataha, one whose name is Hiranyanabha. Kausalayam bhavaha, who is born in Kosal Pradesh. Kausalyo, so he is also called Hiranyanabha Kausalyo. He is not Kaushalya of mother of Sri Ram. The place is Kosal Pradesh. The prince of that Kosal Pradesh, who is born in that Kosal Pradesh, Rajaputraha. So there can be many people who are born in Kosal Pradesh, but specifically he is a Rajaputra. So he is a prince. Rajaputra Jatita Kshatriyo, and he is a Kshatriya. Mam Upetya, having approached me, Uchyamanam Prashnam Aprachata. What I am going to say, that question he asked. Shodasha-Kalam, Shodasha-Sankhya-Kaha, Kala Avayava, Iva Atmani Avidya Adhyaropita Rupa Yasmin Purushe, So Ayam Shodasha-Kalaha, Tam Shodasha-Kalam He Bharadwaja Purusham Vetha Vijanasi. So the question that he asked is about Shodasha-Kala-Purushah. So Shankaracharya explains here that Shodasha Sankhya-Kaha Kala. So 16, Shodasha is 16, the number 16. Kala Avayava. Now Kala, Avayava means part. So one meaning of Avayava is part. So Purusha who has 16 parts. So he didn't ask about Shodasha-Kala. He asked about Shodasha-Kala-Purushah. So the entire universe is actually going to be explained further. You will see 16 aspects make up this whole universe. Question he is asked, Hiranyanabha, is not about those 16 aspects. Question is asked is about that Purusha from whom these 16 appear. Who is that Purusha? Where is that Purusha? Two questions, right? Who is that and where it is? So Kala means parts. If he had asked only Shodasha-Kala, do you know Shodasha-Kala? So what are the 16 aspects which make up the universe? Then that is a different question. But he is asked about who is that Shodasha-Kala-Purusha? That if I am seeing this whole universe, and this universe is supposed to be made up of the 16 aspects, what is the reality behind this and where is it? That is a question of that prince. So Avayava means parts. Now Kala also has many different meanings. So Kala also means art, dance, music, lot of these, So one aspect of Kala, so performing arts, they are called Kala. So one aspect of the Kala is that which hides the original is called Kala. And very interesting that is. That which hides the original is called Kala. So even in performing arts, if you see, the dancer who dances, fully tuned up, the original personality of the dancer is put aside. That character that the dancer is playing, that alone is there fully. Same way in acting. The person may be a billionaire, but when the person is playing the role of some beggar, that billionaire status as though is covered up. And that person plays that role of a beggar to perfection. So everybody will think that person is a beggar. So the Kala is that which hides the original. So here, when it is said Shodasha-Kala-Purushah, the 16 aspects which make up the creation, they are actually hiding the source, the reality. And that's why the question is from where is this Purusha? The 16 aspects are there, they are hiding that Purusha. I want to know who is that Purusha. That's the question of Hiranyanabha, and that's the question of Sukesha also. So here that's why he says Avayava Iva. Please remember, Iva is an important word here. As though there are parts. It is not that really there are parts. They are superimposition. Like the snake appears to have parts. So there is a hood, there is the body, then there is the forked tongue, there is some mark on that snake, there is a tail. It appears as though there are parts. But actually there are no parts. There is only one rope, which is appearing as snakes and which is appearing as the snake, and then the snake appears to have different parts. All the parts are appearance, and all the parts of the snake are as though covering the rope. So that's why here he says, Shodasha Kalam, Shodasha Sankhya-kaha Kala Avayava Iva Atmani Avidya Aropita Rupa. They are superimpositions on the self because of ignorance. Yasmin Purushe, and that Purusha on whom this is superimposed. That Purusha, Shodasha-Kala Tam Shodasha-Kalam, He Bharadwaja Purusham Vetha. Do you know that Purusha on whom this whole this entire world, the 16 aspects are superimposed because of ignorance. Now, Shankaracharya has explained this. It is not Sukesha who is saying all this. Sukesha is only asking Shodasha-Kala-Purushah, where it is. Not Sukesha, sorry, Hiranyanabha. Hiranyanabha is asking Shodasha-Kala-Purushah. He asked, Shodashakalam Bharadwaja Purusham Vetha. So this explanation of Shodashakalam, Shankaracharya ji has given here. That Kala is Avayava and these parts as though are covering the Supreme. In the same way, like, just like the snake as though covers the rope. So that Purusha who is as though covered because of ignorance, the whole world is being superimposed on that Purusha. About that Purusha, this Hiranyanabha came and asked me. So Sukesha is reporting that to Pippalada Rishi. He Bharadwaja Purusham Vetha. Do you know that Purusha on whom this entire world of 16 aspects is superimposed because of ignorance? Do you know that Purusha? Tamaham Rajaputram Kumaram Prishtavantam Abruvam Uktavan Asmi Na Aham Imam Veda Yam Tvam Prichhasi Iti. So to that prince who came asking me about this Shodasha-Kala-Purusha, I told him that I don't know that Purusha about whom you are asking. I don't know. Evam Uktavatyapi Mai Ajnanam Asambhavayantam Tam Ajnane Karanam Avadisham. So when I said this, the prince was not able to believe that I don't know. Because the prince is thinking that here is somebody who has studied, who is, been in the Gurukul, who has got the knowledge, and he must have been famous in that region. That's how the prince comes to him. So he can't believe that Sukesha doesn't know. So to him, who was having a look of disbelief, he said, Yadi kathanchid aham imam tvaya prishtam purusham avedisham viditavan asmi katham atyanta shishya guna vate arthine te tubhyam na avakshyam na uktavan asmi na bruyami iti arthaha. If I knew the Purusha about whom you are talking, then why will I not give this knowledge to you who are atyanta shishya guna vate? You are one who is extremely well qualified as a shishya, and arthine, you have come asking for this knowledge. Both are important. There must be the right qualification, and then there must be that humility to go and ask the knowledge. So you have done both. Why would I not give it to you? Because a doubt in his mind could have been that he knows and he is not giving this knowledge to me. Maybe because I am a Kshatriya. He says, no, you are most qualified. And we don't bother about the external varna in which you belong to. If you are qualified, we will give the knowledge. And if I know it, definitely I would have given you, because you are most qualified and you have come asking for this knowledge. Who comes asking for this knowledge? Very few people. Hardly anybody wants Brahma Vidya. Most of them want Lakshmi Devi. Narayana's pursuers are very less. So here he says that you are very qualified. So you have come. Why would I not tell you? Bhuyo api apratyayam iva alakshya pratyayayitum abravam. So even after saying this, there was still disbelief on his face. So to make him believe and understand, I said further to him, Samulaha samule sahamulena va esho anyatha santam atmanam anyatha kurvan na andritam ayatha bhutartham abhivadati yaha saparishusyati shosham upaiti iha loka paralokabhyam vichidya ete vinashyati vichidyate vinashyati. So he says here that this knowledge, if I had and I didn't want to give it to you, and so if I have told lies that I don't know, then what happens to that person who tells lies? Samulaha vinashyati. So in this context here, the samula word has two meanings. One meaning is what Shankaracharya has given here, that this life is the effect and this life is the root. Next life is the branch or the tree. So samula vinashyati means with the root and branch it will get destroyed. Meaning this life also destroyed, next life also destroyed. What he says here, ihaloka paraloka abhyam vichidyate vinashyati. Meaning here and hereafter both will be gone. Both will be destroyed if I tell lies. Meaning if whoever tells lies, that person's, the principle is stating, whoever tells lies, that person's here and hereafter is destroyed. Here it is destroyed because there is a split in the personality. What I know and what I say and how I behave is disintegrated. Lot of energy wastage in that, guilty consciousness in that, low confidence in that, all that will happen. How much ever one may put up a show of confidence and strength and all that, inside one knows one is a weakling. One doesn't have the courage to live up to the truth. And then hereafter, of course, is destroyed because when one has lived in untruth, that karma will give results both here and hereafter. Plus that mind has become weaker. Plus the person has committed the sins. All those will have negative consequences. So he says, I know this principle that whoever tells lies, that person's here and hereafter is destroyed. So that is one meaning of samula. Other meaning of samula is given by other commentators. One meaning is, I am the effect, my cause is the family. So my family and any effects born out of me, so my children, so my parents and my children, meaning whoever is my immediate family, they will also get influenced, they will also get affected, it will negatively, they will also have to bear the consequences. So one knows that if one tells lies, this will happen. Now please remember, this idea is not to create fear psychology only. The idea is from karmic standpoint, it is true. Though the onus of the main karma of telling lies is on that person who has told the lies, but whoever is connected to that person will also be affected. Based on, of course, their karmic equations with this person, but they will get affected. So both here and hereafter, the person's life will have a lot of negative effects. So he says, I know this very, very clearly. So Yata evam jane tasma na arhami aham anritam vaktum mudhavat. And because I know this, I cannot deserve to tell lies like a fool. See, the value of the truth is that no? We follow truth for ourselves, mainly, first. And also we have a responsibility towards others. So if I want to live a life of purity of mind, and I want to know especially this higher aspects like the self, it is not possible unless the mind is purified, and mind can be purified only when one follows Satyam. The path to the absolute truth, Paramarthika Satya, is only through the Vyavaharika Satya. If there is no truthfulness in my behavior, in my thinking, in my feeling, at this relative level, absolute truth one cannot attain. It's impossible. And it may appear that one has gotten away by telling lies. You see many people getting away with it, and they can hoodwink the court and the CBI and the CIA or whatever, FBI, anything they can do. Enough power if they have, they will do some of those things. But one cannot hoodwink karmic consequences. Ishvara is the karma phaladata, and the law of karma ensures that everybody gets what they deserve as per their actions, their intentions. They will get that karma phala. How much will one run away from that? And then one says, what did I do to deserve this? 100% you would have done something to deserve in the past. Immediate past or distant past, somewhere if the effect is there, cause has to be there. So karmic consequences nobody can escape. Any other thing one may escape. So the important point to understand is that we follow truth for our sake, and if really I'm very concerned about my near and dear ones, even for their sake. It's better to live the path of the truth with some struggle and difficulty than to live the path of lies and untruth with enough comfort. Because that comfort anyway will destroy us. Then the negative consequences of telling lies will be coming extra. Why does one want to do all that? So if I'm especially the seeker of the supreme truth, then there is no other path. I have to follow that relative truth also. Hence he says, I know this very clearly. So I cannot afford to tell lies. Look at that line there. Na arhami anritam vaktum. I can't afford to tell lies. That line must go inside our head. As a spiritual seeker, I cannot afford to tell lies or be untruthful, be disintegrated, something inside, something else outside. Discretion is a different matter, where what to reveal to whom based on my duty. Obviously, everything that I think doesn't have to be told to everybody. But what I should tell, what is my duty, that also I don't tell, or I tell lies, or I hide, or I tell the partial truth. Then all that is going to have its own consequences. So this line, it must go very deep in our mind, that na arhami anritam vaktum, that cannot afford to tell lies. Especially to cover up especially to portray some good image. Now, it's very interesting in this context. It may appear to us that what truth Sukesha spoke led to a lose-lose situation. Now, Sukesha's image in the eyes of this prince has fallen. this prince, as it appears, it's not necessarily true. I came with so much excitement to this Sukesha, and Sukesha, I thought, is very educated, knowledgeable, so famous, and I asked him the question, but he doesn't know. So in the mind of the prince, it appears as though Sukesha's image has fallen down. The prince also became disappointed. Answer was not found for the question. The prince left from there. Now it was a lose-lose situation for the prince also and for Sukesha also. Sukesha could have told lies. His image would have been saved. Prince would have returned satisfied. Everything would have been fine. That would have been a win-win situation. But because this person chose to tell the truth, it became lose-lose situation. Now some people will argue like that. Why I am saying this is, our mind is very adept and skilled in justifying and presenting the intention in a very, very attractive way, convincing way, that this is the reason why I had to lie. And it will justify to itself. This is what I did was correct. In the interest of everybody, I did this. I took this decision. So what if it is wrong? What is the context ultimately? I mean, what is the effect ultimately? Everybody is happy. That is all that matters. Krishna, Bhagavan also heard all those arguments from Arjuna in the first chapter of the Gita. That why he doesn't want to fight? Because the society will go through destruction, the Varna Vyavastha will get destroyed, the Pitrus will fall, people will comment that he's enjoying the pleasure stained by the blood of his own relatives. All those arguments he gave, The fact is, he was attached to Bhishma and Drona. He did not want to fight because that attachment overwhelmed him. That he didn't accept. Till the second chapter, he surrendered to Shri Krishna. He didn't accept. Just before he surrendered, he accepted. Bhishma Drona Pramukhatah Sarvesham Cha Mahikshitam. Of all these, Bhishma and Drona, when I see, I get completely overwhelmed. Guruna Hatva Hi Mahanubhavan. They are so great gurus. How can I kill them? Finally, he accepted there. Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana are anyway in denial mode full time. Dhritarashtra knows what is wrong, but he still cannot accept that, his son is at fault and then he should put his son in place. He will never accept that because he is fully attached to his son. And through that son, actually is attached to his own image, that my son finally has become the king rightfully. So it's not even for his son, it is for his image. Same way Duryodhana also. He is attached to power and he wants to prove that he is greater than Pandavas. Now go on compromising for it. So same thing happens. I mean, Sukesha also could have done. Tell some lies, give some answer, make that person feel that, oh, Sukesha is so knowledgeable. And that person also has some knowledge he has got and he is going now. So win-win situation. Intentions really matter. With good intention, I told this lie so that both of us are in benefit. Look at the mind, how much tricks it will play. But the real win-win situation is this. What appears as a lose-lose situation actually becomes a win-win situation because Sukesha did not compromise. Temporarily, yes, it may appear that the prince went disappointed. But actually speaking, because Sukesha told the truth, the trust of the prince in Sukesha will increase a lot. Point 1. Point 2, Sukesha will not have any fear of having said the lies, because if you tell lies to the prince, the faith of the prince you break, and the prince may come back and punish you also for that. Sukesha is living guilt-free, fear-free, and the prince also, when he went, temporarily he did not get the result that he wanted, the answer that he wanted he didn't get. But at least he went with the clarity that I still have not found my answer. So he can ask other people, he can approach many others, rather than being carried away by the wrong assurance that now I know what is a Shodasha-Kala-Purushah. And fourth, Sukesha had that intensity to seek this Shodasha-Kala-Purushah, because when I don't know, then I can approach a teacher and ask. That illusion of I know it all prevents me from approaching and really gaining knowledge. So finally, Sukesha goes to the teacher, Pippalada Rishi, and tells this entire background, and he again doesn't bother there to cover it up and just ask the question. So Pippalada Rishi also understood the earnestness of the student and the steadfastness of the student to stay anchored in the truth without any compromise. No prestige issue at all. No image factors to be saved, protected. What will that prince think of me? What will this Pippalada Rishi think of me? I need to protect my image in front of both. This quality is called Arjavam. In the Gita, when we see Amanitvam, Adambhitvam, Ahimsa, Kshanti, Arjavam, 13th chapter it comes. Arjavam is straightforwardness. Especially a spiritual seeker who wants the knowledge of the self has to be straightforward. There is no doubt in that. Who got the knowledge of the Gita? Did Dhritarashtra get the knowledge? Did Duryodhan get the knowledge from Bhagavan? Arjun got the knowledge because he was straightforward. He also tried to cover up in the beginning and justify, etc. But finally he understood and he accepted. He doesn't know anything. He surrendered. And he did not have any ego issue saying in between two armies, I am there. What will these people think of me? And how can I cry? And the stupid stereotypical behavior that we encourage today, that why are you crying like girl? Why can't a boy cry? Why can't a man cry? What is wrong? He's a human being. But no. Don't cry like a girl. That is so insulting, as though girls are always crying. It's insulting to both man and woman. The person is feeling sorrow, will cry. Grief is there. Naturally, that grief will be born as the tears in some ways. There's nothing wrong in that. Doesn't mean that one is a weaker gender because one is crying, so one who doesn't cry is a stronger gender. All this nonsense. The scriptures don't encourage any of that. It goes into our head, social conditioning. So Arjun cried. He didn't have an issue at all. Okay, I am in so-called great warrior, but I am going through this right now. This is my mental state. And here is Krishna, to whom I am surrendering he is a teacher. I am saying that I am your student. Please instruct me. That is called Arjavam, straightforwardness. So this quality finally led to win-win. No? Now Sukesha gets the knowledge and he is also happy. He can now give it to everybody. Not only that, King Hiranyanabha. Hiranyanabha became the instrument for Sukesha to realize that, oh, I don't know the Purusha still. So he goes to a Brahmagnani Guru, seeks the knowledge, gets the knowledge, Now he can share with all, and his life is fulfilled, and he can fulfill the life of other people. That is true win-win situation. Win-win situation is not to protect the ego and put up some false image of the ego and I am happy, you are happy, let us live in compromise. That is not win-win situation. That is absolute lose-lose situation, really speaking. Partners in crime, that is. Everybody together. This is the real win-win situation. Where he went, he said, I don't know. And the prince asked me, I didn't know. Now that question I'm asking you. So look at the genuineness there. It is not even my question. It didn't strike me on my own. It is a question that Prince Hiranyanaha asked me. Then it struck me that, oh, I don't know about this. So I have come to you to know this. This is to this level the truthfulness is. See, there is no hiding in this. There is no telling lies in this. There is no partial truth in this. This is 100% truth. Especially in front of the teacher, Bhagwan, Guru, in front of them, one should not take up that path of hiding, telling lies, covering it up, mixing it with the little bit of lies, and so 20% lies, say 80% truth. 100%, this is what it is. Now you guide. Full stop. Arjun, you look at his surrender. How he, at that point in time, how he was able to surrender, that much he surrendered. That's it. He says, you please teach me, you instruct me, I surrender to you, but I will not fight. Tell me to do anything else, but I will not fight. Because that is his situation at that point in time. That's what he's feeling inside. That's what it is his mindset. There is a resistance to some extent, and he is happy to share, he is happy to show that resistance. Yes, I will not fight. Tell me, you instruct me, but I will not fight. That is the truthfulness. He doesn't say that I completely surrender to you, but and hide his resistance, saying I surrender to you, but in mind he's thinking, I'll filter and I'll choose only what it appeals to me. Rest of it I will not choose. No, he says I surrender, but I will not fight. And that same Arjun at the end of the whole Gita says, Karishe vachanam tava. When Bhagwan says, Yatha ichchasi tatha kuru. What you desire, what you feel like, you do that. I have given you this knowledge. Now you decide and do what you want. And Arjun says, I will do exactly what you say. Because now he is convinced fully. And then he does what Bhagwan tells him. That is truthfulness. Many times one comes asking a question and one has not expressed the entire context properly. One should remember that the teacher's answer will also depend on not only the question asked, but the context in which this question is, context from which this question is coming. If that is not known, answer may be different. It may not benefit the student at all. So with great sincerity and truthfulness, one has to ask that question and should not have that false notions. Whose image are we trying to protect? That very image is false is what we are trying to understand. That ego factor is false. It's a myth. What are we trying to protect? So here Sukesha says, I cannot afford to tell lies. Na arhami aham anratam vaktum moodhavat. Like a fool, whoever that person is. See, moodha literally means a deluded one. We say moodhamate as a oh fool, as in a colloquial translation, we say oh fool. But actually moodhamati means the deluded one. Because moha means delusion. So one who tells the lies is actually deluded. To think that by telling lies that person will benefit. That is a delusion there. Telling lies, it will be beneficial to me. Telling lies, I will prosper. telling lies, I can get away with things. Nobody will catch me even if I tell lies. I am very smart in expressing this. And one thinks of oneself as very smart, capable, that one can manipulate the truth as per one's will and wish. All that is delusion. This is mudhavat. It's all delusory, and I cannot afford to do that. So now, having heard this from Sukesha, what did the prince do? Now Sukesha gave him two reasons. One is, if I knew, why will I not give it to you who are very deserving? Meaning, I have nothing against you. You can be a prince, you can be a kshatriya, you can be anybody. You are a deserving person. I am not hiding anything from you just because I think you are not capable or you are not a brahmana. I have no such hang-ups in my head. Genuinely, I don't know, so I am not telling you, because I cannot afford to tell lies. So, having heard this from Sukesha, Sarajaputra evam pratyayitah tushnim vridito rathamarukhya pravavraja pragatavan yathagatameva. So, having heard this, that prince mounted his chariot, and from where he had come, he went there. Ato nyayata upasannaya yogyaya janata vidya vaktavya anritam cha na vaktavyam sarvasu avasthasu iti etat siddham bhavati. Now this is written by Shankaracharya ji as a conclusion of this anecdote. What do we learn from this anecdote? Two very important things he says here. Nyayatah upasannaya. One who has approached you as per the tradition. And what is the tradition? Brahma Vidya is attained by approaching a guru. Like we see, remember Mundakopanishad. This is the Mundakopanishad is a Samhita Upanishad, which is the main one, and Prashnopanishad is a Brahmana Upanishad, which is a commentary as though or an elaboration of Mundakopanishad. Some of the ideas of Mundakopanishad. So in that Mundakopanishad it comes that Pariksha lokan karmachitan brahmanaha nirvedamayat na asti akrita kritena. Having seen the world very clearly and having understood that the imperishable cannot be attained through any amount of effort, because the efforts will give only perishable results. Tad vijnanartham sagurumevapi gachet. That person nirvedamayat gets lot of vairagya and then approaches the guru. Samit panihi, with samit in the hands. So approaching the guru is the tradition to seek Brahma Vidya. It is not studied by oneself. And in that Bhashya, Shankaracharya ji also explained very clearly that one may be even a very great scholar. Shastrajnah api swatantrena Brahma Jnana Anveshanam na kuryat. One may be a great scholar, but still one should not seek this Brahma Vidya on one's own independently. One has to go to a teacher. So here Pippalada, Hiranyanabha approaches Sukesha. And also we see Sukesha approaching Pippalada Rishi. So both of them have approached the guru to seek the knowledge. Now whoever is a person like that, who has approached traditionally and who is capable also, yogyaya, upasannaya, yogyaya, the teacher, having understood this, that here is a person who is capable and who has come here traditional way seeking this knowledge, vidya vaktavya, one should give knowledge to that person. This is very clear. You see what Shankaracharya has written, yogyaya, nyayatah yogyaya. He didn't write that give this only to Brahmanas. He said whoever is that yogya person. If that person is capable, ready for Brahma Vidya, the teacher, having understood that, has to give that Vidya. One cannot deny. And so that's the first learning. And then the second learning, he says, Andritam cha na vaktavyam sarvasu avasthasu. In any situation, do not tell lies. The teacher, you see, Pippalada Rishi is very beautiful, this whole context of Prashnopanishad. Sukesha did not know, so he says, I don't know, to Hiranyanabha. Hiranyanabha went. Now Sukesha comes to Pippalada Rishi. If you remember in the beginning of Prashnopanishad, when these 6 disciples went to the teacher and they wanted to ask questions, Pippalada Rishi said, you stay here for 1 year with Shraddha, with Brahmacharya, with Tapasya, and at the end of the 1 year, if I know the answer, I will tell you. See, that is the truthfulness of Pippalada Rishi also, no? Pippalada Rishi doesn't say that I know everything. Pippalada Rishi also is very humble and is very truthful. He says, if I know, I will tell you now. So it's up to you to decide now whether you want to stay 1 year or not. But this is the condition. You stay 1 year, then you get to ask me questions. And that time, if I know, I will tell you. Now look at that. The disciple also is having that same truthfulness quality, and the teacher is also having that same quality. Then both of them are not in that mindset that we know it all. Then only knowledge can take place. Then this student is receptive and the teacher also can give the best knowledge because the teacher is empty. The absolute truth flows through that teacher. Teacher is not stuck in some image factor that I have to impress my disciples and whoever comes here, they should go back saying he is omniscient, he is sarvagnya, he knows everything, he is trikalajnani. And they should not go back outside in the world to say that, oh, this teacher kacha hai. I don't think he knows everything. Be very careful now if you go to this teacher. You may be wasting time. That image people should not have. So I should portray some image that I know it all. So I will not tell that maybe I don't know something that you ask. He doesn't bother about that. Just imagine those 6 disciples, any of them could have gone saying, no, I don't want to stay here 1 year because if you don't know something, then what is the point of my 1 year staying? They could have gone. They could have said that in the world to the people, saying this is what this teacher said. Now others may start doubting, should we go, should we not go? Now Pippalada Rishi, if he had thought that, oh, this should not happen, he could have put a false image. Then he would not have been a fit student, a fit teacher to actually share this knowledge. Because there is still impurity in the mind of the teacher already. Then how will that teacher give Brahma Vidya? So even before establishing this disciple's great quality of truthfulness, Sukesha's quality, Pippalada Rishi's quality of truthfulness has already been established, and that is Upanishad is showing that. Sukesha also could have felt that, I don't know, and now this teacher is not sure. He's saying 1 year you stay and then I will tell you. I'm stuck here now, I better go to somewhere else where the teacher is sure that he knows. Sukesha also is that is a Shraddha of Sukesha also, to stay back 1 year. And he understood that this is a guru's humility to say this, and he stayed. And of course, in 1 year, it's not that the guru and Shishya are locked up in their separate rooms and they don't interact with each other. Of course, they interact with each other. The very fact that 1 year they have sustained themselves there also proves that the faith that the students had keeps getting stronger by the day. Otherwise, they could have left any time in between that 1 year also. So all this establishes that the teacher must not tell lies in any situation. That is Shankaracharya is writing here so clearly. Na anritam cha vaktavyam sarvasu avasthasu iti etat siddham bhavati. This anecdote proves this very clearly. Don't tell lies. Oh, Swami, it is only applicable to teacher, no? No, this is the general learning. First aspect is, yes, applies to the teacher, that when the student comes who is very deserving, has approached you traditionally, you have to give knowledge, whoever that person may be. And give that knowledge how? Truthfully. That's the second point. But that second point applies to all of us as seekers also, because it comes also from the standpoint of Sukesha, who told the truth, saying, I don't know. And he came and he told everything to the teacher, Pippalada. So even as a student, he has to be truthful. So obviously it applies to all of us. It's not only instruction for the teacher. Teacher has to, of course, be living that. Shastra doesn't have to give instruction to that teacher. The teacher of Brahma Vidya would not have attained Brahma Gyan without the help of truth. Only when anchored in truth one will attain Brahma Vidya. So here it is. Two conclusions Shankaracharya has given. Tam Purusham Tvam Prachami. That Purusha, Shodasha-Kala-Purushah, which was asked about by this Hiranyanabha to me, that I am asking you. Tam Purusham Tvam Prachami. Mama Hridi Vigneyatvena Shalyamiva Me Hridi Sthitam. It is like a thorn that is pricking my heart. And I need to know this. That the ignorance of this Purusha is there in me is like a thorn that is pricking. Now, if there is a thorn that is pricking, it will pain. And that has to be removed. See that feeling Sukesha is having. That I don't know the self. It is like a thorn that is pricking him. In his heart, not in the leg anywhere or any other part of the body. In the heart, there is a thorn. Heart is such a delicate organ. The thorn pricking in the heart. Meaning, of course, an idiomatic expression. Meaning it is, I am uncomfortable. That I don't know the self. Meaning I don't know the entire, the purpose for which human birth is taken, that itself is not served. That is making me uncomfortable, that I don't know the self. So he says, Shalyam eva me hridi sthitam. Hence I am asking this to you. Kva asau vartate vigneya purusha iti. That Purusha which is Vigneya, which is supposed to be known, especially having got a human birth, I have to know this self. And that I don't know this self, it is pricking me like a thorn in the heart. About that self, I am asking you, where is that self? Kva asau Purusha. So now, where is that self? Obviously implies the first question, what we discussed earlier, that what is that self? Because if the self is known, then where it is also will be known. So his question has both the parts. What is that self? And then where is that self? So that concludes our first mantra. Now Pippalada Rishi answers from second mantra onwards. That we will take up in our next class. Just for next week, 16th is the Hanuman Jayanti next Saturday. And we have a Hanuman Havan, 21 times chanting Hanuman Havan immediately after the class in the morning. So the class will be from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., not 7:15 to 8:15. Class will be 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Any questions for today? Aditi.
Hariom Swamiji, in the explanation you said that our karma can be means our family can be affected by our karma. How is that possible? Because we are the jiva and we identify with the BMI, right? With so how can our karma be affect our family?
See, as I said in the talk, our karma will affect the family also based on their karma. Why is it that two jivas have come together to live as a family? Because they have some karmic connection between each other. They have come to exhaust that karmic connection between each other. And while transacting with each other, they are also creating new karmic connections, which is what the science of Vedanta is telling us, that while exhausting our existing prarabdha karma, we are creating new agami karma. No? So that is how it happens. So when even in simple actions it affects, not only in telling lies, in every action that we do where the person is connected to so many others, it will affect them. Like even simple example, if I suppose I don't eat proper food and I don't take care of myself, I fall sick. Now it is my karma. I fallen sick. I didn't eat properly. I didn't take care of my health. It is affecting other people or not? They have to take care of me. They have to put aside their work. Plus the mental difficulties they will go through, that, oh, this person of mine who is so dear to me is suffering. It will affect. Same way, now that I'm giving you example at the physical level. Same thing will happen at the mind level. When one tells lies, the individual's integrity, willpower, confidence, fearlessness starts going down. Now that person becomes weak. Decisions that person may take can be wrong. Person may be emotionally overwhelmed. Person may tend to be more clingy, more attached. All those things will affect everyone. Person will live in insecurity. One will more focus on protecting that image factor, tell more and more lies. Now at some point the lies get exposed, then the trust between the two people gets broken. All those things will happen. So if we think that our karmas are only in isolation and only we will be affected, that is not true. It will affect others too. And of course, as I said, it is dependent on also their karmic equation with us. It may not affect everybody in an equal way, obviously. So their karma plays a part, no doubt. But our karma is not independent. That's the point to understand. So though they may not have done anything directly, because they have a karmic equation with me, they will face the consequences of what I'm going through. No, that's how it will affect. So it is a responsibility of mine to be truthful for myself as well as for the people near me and in my family, etc.
Hariom Swamiji, thank you.
Now, if we go a little more deeper into this, it is also a fact that it will affect the country also. No? When every individual in the country is straightforward, honest, then that country is strong and the systems work properly, corruption, etc. is not there. Now, if each individual is corrupt, every unit of the society is corrupt, then the entire wall of the society will be corrupt. No? So we generally forget that impact of the individual on the collective. So we think it is my life, my rules, and I will follow what I want, and who are other people to guide. It's not about who are other people. It's about my life and my impact on others. And it will create an impact on me, on the beings around me, on my country, on the whole planet as such. Which is why we say that what is here is there, what is there is here. Kathopanishad says that. Yadamutra tadanviha, yadaiha tadamutra. What is here is there, what is there is here. The individual and the total are one. A wave is not isolated from the ocean. Whatever happens to the wave, it will affect the ocean. Depends on what impact and intensity it happens. but it will affect the ocean because individual is not separate from the total. So if any individual is going through something, it will affect the totality. There's no question about that. Somewhere war is happening, we are affected here, no? Oil prices and all going up, and petrol and diesel and all that. There is in today's globalized world, so we should be understanding that very clearly. The physical effects. Same thing applies at the mental level also. Jai Shri Ji.
Hariom Swamiji. Swamiji, you said that in the from Vyavaharika Satya, you will come to realize only through the Vyavaharika Satya, the Paramarthika Satya.
Yeah, so what is the question?
So, but yeah, Vyavaharika Satya, coming to the transactional items, see, when you are approaching some person, you are thinking that the person knows. Suppose tomorrow, later on you feel that the person had not given you the correct knowledge. So are we not tempted to disbelieve the person and then swerve away from this path of this Vyavaharika Satya? Because
Just because
now
somebody else
we
told
have
that
a doubt on the person that he is not knowing. So that
why
is
should you swerve from the path of truth because somebody who did not know told lies?
So now I
You
will
can
not
go away from that person and seek the truth from somebody else. That is nothing wrong in that. But because that person told lies, why should you swerve from your path of dharma?
But Swamiji, but we will be tempting to disbelieve the person, no, the first person.
What is wrong in disbelieving a person who has told lies? Is that any? There is nothing wrong in not believing somebody. When I know this is the person has not told the truth, I don't trust that person anymore. That is not wrong. Who said that is wrong? You can always go to some other person who and get the knowledge.
But also when going to the first person or to the second person, how will I come to know that the person may know what I am asking, or how
That is where I have to do my background check and find out whether the person has some basic integrity or not. That much I have to know. Otherwise, 100% I will never know about anybody.
That is also
so I have to do some background check, some ways by means by which I can understand, and then I can place my trust that okay, maybe this person knows.
Also, Sharanagati to God only will lead me to the right person in that case.
No, that will anyway happen. Sharanagati to Bhagwan will lead, but Bhagwan doesn't say that because you have surrendered to me, now you don't have to think and evaluate at all. Individually, I have to think and evaluate, and I have to figure out what is right, what is wrong. Now, just because Pandavas have taken Sharanagati of Bhagwan doesn't mean Duryodhana is not there in the life of Pandavas, and doesn't mean that Pandavas become so blinded that whoever comes in our way, Bhagwan is only sending, so I will believe them. That is stupidity. Bhagwan only gave that buddhi to think, to do vivek, to discriminate what is right, what is wrong, what is dharma, what is adharma. And the world has mixture of dharma and adharma, so I have to apply the buddhi. Sharanagati is to surrender my ego so that I can see the truth clearly, not clouded by my perception of my ego and my attachments. That is the meaning of Sharanagati. Sharanagati does not mean that I accept whatever Bhagwan is, whoever is coming, whatever they are doing, I will just accept because I am surrendered to Bhagwan and Bhagwan is sending this person. That's a wrong meaning of Sharanagati. That way, though, Bhagwan himself should not have fought the demons also. Whichever demon is coming my way, it is all right. Let them come and kill me. Putana came, come and kill me. Bakasur came, come and kill me. Why? Bhagwan has sent. Bhagwan fought all of them. He taught others to fight. Arjun wanted to run away. He said, nothing doing. Do your duty. Fight. He didn't say that except Duryodhana who has come your way. I only sent him. He is my instrument. So let him come and destroy you. He didn't say that. No? So Sharanagati has its place, but Vivek also is a part of that. We have to discriminate. So any person coming into our life, we can't trust just like that. Depends on obviously things that I want to know. Depends on all those factors. Then I go to that person, explore a few more options, and then decide. See, we do that for every other thing, no? Then why we don't do that with people? If you want to buy, let us say today, a cell phone, you go to a shop. Will you buy the first model that that person shows, saying this is what the shopkeeper has sent and this is what Bhagavan is saying, so I'm going to buy the first model that I see? No. You will evaluate 4 models, 5 models, see what is good, what is not, which is appropriate feature is having, what is the pricing, what is the guarantee, and then you will choose. No. Same thing we have to do. If I want to know certain things and I need to identify, I have to identify a few people, do some background checks, and then put my faith in the appropriate person so that I will gain. And there, if it is broken, it is broken. It happens sometimes. Again, I have to find somebody else. So that's what it will be. The right understanding of this Sharanagati and the Vivek has to be clear.
Thank you, sir.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.